how are you? And welcome to a new week of content. Remember, this is Tweengreens. We are a natural skincare brand in process of development for tweens and teens. And we want to take care not just about young skin, but young emotions. So this week we have a very interesting topic, which is related to acne. As you know, 85% of teenagers go through acne in some part of this period. So acne affects not just the skin health, but the emotional health of tweens and teens. That is why in this video I want to tell you the 7 habits that a kid needs to establish in order to have an acne-free skin. Stay with me, we are going to the topic right now.
I love you.
Okay, and before we talk about the habits that we need to establish, I want to talk to you about acne. What is acne? Why does acne start in first place? So everything starts with the dead cells, okay? We, the humans, we do a process that is called desquamation, which is this process where we renew our dead cells. All our body is covered by dead cells. Why? Because cells are majorly composed by water. If a live cell is exposed to the environment, it would die immediately. That is why our body, our skin is so smart that is covered by dead cells. These dead cells are renewing every month. Cells are going through the skin layers, and when they get to the surface of the skin, they push out or older cells, and new dead cells comes in. That is like the process. Okay, what happens? Depending on the health of the skin barrier, this process can be executed properly. That would be a good word. But if the skin is not working good, because of the hormonal changes that are absolutely normal in adolescents, or because the lack of hydration, or because an excessive exposure to skin aggressors all day, like sun, pollution, etc. Because of that, the skin loses functioning, okay? And when it starts happening, we start doing an inefficient desquamation process. Then those dead cells stays in the surface of the skin. And what happens then is that, especially in teenagers, and that is why teenagers are more susceptible to acne, is because of the age and the hormonal changes, the sebum starts increasing, and when it happens, it mixes that excess of sebum mixed with the dead cells, and that is like if you put food for bacteria. We all are covered by bacteria as well. That is what we call the microbiome of the skin. Is this balance of good bacteria that protect us against bad bacteria. But when we start the comerons, which is this mix between dead cells and sebum, it is comerons or milia. This is the seed for acne. Why they become like food for the bad bacteria. The bad bacteria then comes in and infect that comeron. In that point is acne. When it's an infection, we can call it papilla, pustule. We have different names according to the severity of that pimple, but that is acne already. So what can we change and what can we not change? We can't change the skin type of a teenager. We can't change how much sebum excess a teenager generates, because that is hormonal, that is part of the genetics of each of us. However, we can change the other part of the equation. We can change how we take care of the skin and keep the skin working properly. Then the desquamation process is executed properly. The hydration levels are working well, and if we have a healthy skin, our kids have less risk to get to the infection point. Okay, so that is acne. That is, some people say no, it doesn't have to be with cleaning, it doesn't have to be with hydration. Yes, it has. It is 50% of the equation. Yes, it has to be with hormonal changes. Sometimes even taking all the cares aside, we can't control the other one. Yes, that's true. But we can control a part of the equation. And that is why I want to tell you about these 7 habits that will help your teen skin or twin skin to have an acne-free skin. Okay, let's talk about the habits, but first let's talk about the categories where those habits can be put on. The first category we are talking about is topical habits. It is all about what we put in our skin for cleaning, for hydrating, for having our skin working properly. The second category would be eating habits, because we are what we eat. With the food we eat, we can regulate sebum, we can stimulate collagen production. We can do different things with what we eat. And the third one is the emotional habits. Why? Because emotional health is directly related with our immune system. And when a teenager goes through acne, is because the immunological system of the skin is not working properly and bad bacteria comes in the skin. So let's talk about each of these. Okay, let's go to the first 4 habits that are included in topical habits. These 4 habits are cleansing, exfoliating, hydrating, and protecting the skin. So I am not going to get in details for each one because it would be a very long video, but I'm going to leave you some resources down in the description so you can read more if you want. The first habit is cleansing. Yes, cleansing is absolutely important for an acne-free skin. Why? Because when a teenager or a twin cleanses the skin, is removing dead cells, is helping with this renewal process, but is also taking away the excess of sebum. So it's very important. However, we don't need those cleansers that takes away the whole sebum amount, because sebum is needed in the skin. Sebum has antibacterial properties that keeps our skin immune system in place. So we cannot remove all that. So especially for teenagers, we have to use gentle cleanser, no matter if they have oily skin. Actually, if they have oily skin, they need to clean with oil and with water. And I'm going to tell you about the 2 steps of cleansing. Basically, is to use a pre-cleanse process. When we use an oil-based cleanser, what happens then that this oil cleanser emulsifies with oil, with the sebum of the skin, and release that sebum from the skin gently. So it doesn't remove all the sebum, it just removes gently the excess of sebum, and then complete with a water-based cleanser that removes like the water-soluble DD. Okay, so this is the first step, is cleansing. I am going to leave you a link for the blog where I even recommend you some natural cleansers. But yes, it's very important to have 2 steps of cleansing, especially for teenagers. Please don't forget, this is absolutely important. It's an absolutely game changer to use the 2 steps of cleansing. The second one is exfoliating. And I am not talking about like taking sugar and put that in the skin, because it's too harsh, especially for a young skin. Kids shouldn't use a mechanical exfoliation, but with sugar or with harsh substances. If we are using exfoliation, we maybe should use clay, like a clay mask. It's going to do a great job cleaning deeply and exfoliating. But also they can use a cleanser with salicylic acid, for example. I love salicylic acid. You just need to take care that usually products in the market, because they are targeting adults, they use 2% of salicylic acid. And for young skin, I would recommend a maximum of 1% of salicylic acid. So it's to look for it, it's trying to search it. The product that we are creating is having a natural derived salicylic acid, but we are not in the market yet. So I will leave you this list where you can find some natural cleansers now with salicylic acid. The third step is hydrating. Is absolutely important. Why? Because the skin works better when it's hydrated. If the skin doesn't work great, then the desquamation process is not working great. So hydration keep all the levels of the skin in place. So I will leave you as well how to hydrate or moisturize young skin. Then you can choose the right routine, etc. And the fourth one is protecting. Yes, kids need sunscreens. Absolutely yes. Why? Because sun is one of the most aggressive enemies of skin. It creates free radicals, it damages the cells of the skin, and these free radicals, which are those damaged cells, then damage another cell and another cell. So we need to protect our kids from sun. And yes, sunscreens are really, really greasy. So I will recommend you here a sunscreen which I'm in love with, because it's not greasy at all. It absorbs very quickly, and it won't add more grease to our teen skin. So let's go now for the eating habits, which is our category 2. When we eat, we can give our body and our skin what is needed. This is not about doing diet. It's about choosing the right food that give nutrients to the skin. So, for example, if we know that we are exposed, that our teenagers are exposed to sun, to pollution, we need to give them in their food more antioxidant protection. Where are the antioxidants? In berries, for example, in peanuts. Okay, so we need to add that in the food in order to give them enough protection against the skin aggressors, for example. When we talk, for example, about vitamins and minerals, we need to eat those. Why? Because our body doesn't synthesize vitamins or minerals, so we need to supplement them. So in the 2 habits that are included in eating are eating foods and supplements. So vitamins and minerals, we can eat them, but our body has like this limit of the nutrients that is able to absorb on a daily basis. That is why we need to supplement some kind of vitamins and minerals. For example, for the skin, vitamin D is absolutely important because it helps in the synthesis of collagen, for example. But when we are through winter, for example, we don't have enough exposure to sun. So we need to supplement that during those seasons. For example, vitamin C, we can eat rich fruits, for example, in vitamin C, which is amazing. However, sometimes we are not absorbing those nutrients enough. maybe because of the way that food is treated before we eat it. So these stats are showing that this is the time where we, the humans, are absorbing the least amount of nutrients from the food. That is why you probably need to supplement vitamin C as well, not just orally but topically. So this is the eating habits, food and supplements. I will leave you in the description 2 blogs, one about foods and one about supplements for skin, vitamins and minerals, so you can choose the best minerals, vitamins, and foods that you can give to your teenager. Another important thing about food is how to regulate that food that stimulates sebum production. For example, it has been demonstrated that high insulin levels are directly related with the increase in sebum production. So when our teenager eats a lot of sugar, it is more probable that it generates more sebum. So those are the adjustments that we need to do in our kids' diet if we want them to have an acne-free skin. And the third category is emotions. And here we have 2 habits: sleep and meditate. Why? If we don't sleep well, we don't have a great emotions. That's completely demonstrated by studies. Especially in teenagers, the lack of sleep is directly related to depression. So we need to take care that they have enough sleep every day because that will raise their emotion. And the last habit is meditation. Why meditation is so important? Because it helps our immune system. What is happening in today's life is that we are putting all the attention to something outside of us. For teenagers, it would be social media, the school, the responsibilities, everything is outside of them. What happens then? That they stress. We think that maybe only we, the adults, are the one who stress because we have to work, we have to pay the bills, we are in romantic challenges, but they are stressed too, or kids or teenagers are more stressed probably than teenagers of 20 years ago. So this is the time that they have to live. So yes, stress is part of the equation. So when we help or teach our kids to meditate, we are helping them to release endorphins in one hand, and to decrease inflammation in cells. And when it happens, oxygen travels better through our system. Blood travels with nutrients. The blood is the one that transports nutrients, travel better through our system. And all the nutrients and the oxygen that the skin needs can be delivered to where it is needed. So that is the importance of meditation in the skin health. And it is widely used now in the dermatology field, to treat skin conditions like psoriasis, like eczema, and like acne. So I want to leave you a gift here as well, which are 5 meditations for young people. Why for young people? Because these are short meditations, and only 5 minutes, and are only 5 minutes where our teenager can relax, can bring the energy back to inside, and have this process of becoming a more peaceful person, and then be able to transport all the nutrients to the skin. So I will leave you the link here, then you can download it, and I hope you enjoy it. So this is the end of this video. Remember, those are 7 habits that not just include topical, but eating, and emotional habits. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Remember, if you have mom of teenagers or of tweens that needs help in taking care of the skin and the emotions over the skin, please help me share this video. Don't forget to give like, don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications. Thank you and see you next week. Bye.